You're about to discover the remarkable tool almost no one knows about that can rid you of your emotional and mental baggage permanently. Are you living your best life? Or is it getting harder and harder to feel happy, vibrant, energetic, and stress-free with each passing year? Are you feeling weighed down by the accumulation of stuff in your psyche that seems to be there no matter what you do? No matter how many massages you have, or how many courses you take, or how mindful you try to be, and it's getting worse? Here's why. Well, the three most common reasons anyway. You're more stressed than you realize. Stress is the ultimate happiness killer. You're trying to add more positive without getting rid of the negative first. And here's the big one. Your subconscious is programmed to stop you from getting what you want. In the old days, when nothing else was working, you had to just put up with it or medicate it away. Now, thanks to a perfect storm of ancient body wisdom and cutting-edge epigenetics research, you have another option, a groundbreaking one, a tool that changes everything. In this video, I'm going to tell you what this tool is. I'm also going to announce a rare opportunity to get expert, hands-on help using it to clear away decades of your pain, limiting beliefs, and internal blocks in a ridiculously short amount of time. Now, you have a choice. You could keep doing what you're doing, trying this modality, that specialist, then this new practice forever, without seeing the shifts you're after, whether it's in your love life, your career, or your health. Or you could go to the source of your problems, where they lie deep inside you, and dissolve them painlessly and gently over a single weekend that will change your life or your money back. I call it the Personal Peace Rapid Results 2-Day Intensive. Because in just 2 days, you'll make the kind of progress you'd almost given up on. You'll feel lighter, freer, happier, and possibly more yourself than maybe you've ever felt. The expert guidance and solid group support you receive over that short weekend will provide the secure foundation you need to reach into your deepest self, even though this amazing tool makes it possible to do so without reliving past pain if you don't want to. Just imagine what your life would be like, what you would be like without your baggage. This tool doesn't take away the wisdom you've gained from life's ups and downs. It just takes away the residual pain of those hard lessons. This method doesn't take away your memories either. Again, just the pain you feel when you think back on those memories. Isn't there something in your past you'd like to remember without any of the grief, sadness, guilt, anger, resentment, or trauma? Believe me, we all have those reactions. Well, I used to, until I discovered this tool. Just preventing yourself from thinking about your troubles doesn't help. That's because even when your conscious mind is focused on other things, your unconscious mind is struggling with, coping with, and being burdened by all those buried feelings. And that's a big deal because your unconscious mind is a much bigger part of your mind. In fact, it's 95%. That's right, your conscious mind, the only part you're consciously aware of, only makes up 5%. Starting to see why all your New Year's resolutions fall over? Why you end up in the same relationship patterns time and time again? Why all those positive affirmations aren't making you any happier? You're doing all those things with your little 5%. While your 95% does something completely different, often frustratingly the opposite of what you want. It's like trying to steer an iceberg with a paddle. If you're already feeling a big internal yes, then act now to book one of the very limited spots available for this intensive. I'm keeping this event intimate for maximum effect, and it will fill up fast. Because while I said almost no one knows about this phenomenal tool, I didn't say no one. The fact is, it's been spreading like wildfire the world over because of its effectiveness. Top universities are even studying it to figure out why it works so well. And I'm one of only a handful of certified practitioners in this method in all of Australia. In fact, I'm certified in the clinical form of it. That is, the form being used in all the scientific research. But more importantly, I've experienced firsthand how this amazing method can change your life because it changed mine. So much that I'm writing a book about my experience. Maybe you've been through something like this in your life too. After a series of difficult challenges, I ended up in deep depression. I mean, for the first time in my life, I really understood what it felt like to not want to live anymore. And I hated feeling that way. So I tried everything I could think of to get myself out of it. And though most things helped a little, like meditation, counseling, journaling, vision boards, and prayer, the effects of these things didn't seem to last. An hour or a day later, I'd be back to feeling like I had a lead weight sitting on my heart, and I'd just want to cry in my bedroom with the curtains closed. Well, maybe the prayers did make a difference, because about when I'd given up hope of finding a solution that didn't involve meds, after a year and a half of total misery, I was introduced to this method. And after 5 days of using it, I was cured. I was joyful, light, happy. A friend commented that I seemed like a 10 years ago version of myself. A version of myself before the stress and pain of the intervening years had started to pile up. But the effects weren't just emotional, they were physical too. With the stress of all that emotional pain gone, my body was able to heal faster and move better and recover shockingly well from everything from muscle aches to strep throat. Now, I have to be careful here that I don't promise physical healings. That's up to your body. But what I can say is that research has shown, and I and many of my clients have experienced these kinds of seeming miracles with this method. And I can also make you a guarantee that if you attend this 2-day intensive, you will experience phenomenal emotional clarity, freedom, and ease, and that the life you've been trying to claim for yourself will begin to arrive for you. Or, like I said, 100% of your money back. That's how certain I am. So you really have nothing to lose by booking now, instead of putting off the solution to your problems and missing out. With only 30 spots, that means you really have to jump fast to get in. But I've taken away all the risks, so there's no reason not to click the button now. Take an important step towards freeing your best self from the baggage pointlessly stored in your unconscious mind with the Personal Peace Rapid Results 2-day intensive. And now, as promised, I'll tell you what this method is. It's called EFT, also known as tapping. And if you haven't seen it in action, I have to say up front, it's weird looking. Well, not as weird as acupuncture, where you have needles sticking out all over the place, but it is based on the same ancient Chinese principles of acupuncture, just that instead of putting needles into what are called your energy meridian endpoints, you're tapping on them lightly with your fingers. Before I go any further, humor me by letting me insert here that Dr. David Feinstein of the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine has said this about EFT. Acupoint tapping yields unexpectedly strong and rapid clinical outcomes with a range of conditions. Lots of respected authorities are talking about it. Another example is EFT is the most powerful new transformational technology to come along in years. That's Jack Canfield who said that, the guy who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. Deepak Chopra, heard of him? He says EFT offers great healing benefits. Believe me, I could go on and on. Just a month ago, the BBC even did a special report on it. But hopefully, that's enough to get you to overlook how strange it might seem, this whole concept of tapping on certain specific places on your head, upper body, and hands, because this next part is just as important. You do this while focusing your conscious mind on what you want to get rid of. There are specific things you can say while doing it that make sure your unconscious mind gets the message, but basically, it's that simple. Sure, you can get more complex with EFT. It really depends on what you're working on. But when I see clients, my goal is not only to clear their current problems, but also to teach them to use this themselves on their future issues and challenges. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, and there are a whole suite of these for all different types of issues. The Personal Peace Procedure is one of these techniques. Its purpose is to give you something like an emotional detox, or think of it as an emotional energy spring cleaning. But instead of harsh detergents, we'll use Personal Peace and some additional methods, such as the gentle techniques, which are used when we want the unconscious mind to clear things out without having to drag us down into them. That's why EFT can be such a thorough yet painless process. We get the 95% part of you working on what the 5% part of you wants at last. Now, normally you'd have to do the personal peace procedure on your own, 15 minutes a day for 90 days. But a lot of people find that a bit hard to stick to, and I get it. So I've taken the personal peace procedure and combined it with a careful selection of additional EFT methods to create a powerful format that speeds up the results without sacrificing efficiency or ease. I'll be guiding you in a group of only 30 through this format over the course of those 2 days. There will be 3 other trained EFT practitioners on hand as well, emotional helpers, in case anyone needs assistance with a breakthrough. You'll be safe in an atmosphere of generosity, positivity, support, and encouragement. And of course, you'll have me too. If you want to read what clients have said about working with me, I've put some testimonials below. But first, click the button below to book yourself in for this life-changing weekend right now. And I look forward to seeing you in Wollongong at the Lotus Wellbeing Center March 29th and 30th for 2 days you will look back on as the beginning of a bright new chapter. Click now to book, and I can't wait to see you there.